Hello, Sourcecast listeners. This is Skultacular Special, one of the hosts for Sourcecast. A few days ago, I had the privilege of sitting down with Dragon Tamer and talking about a whole lot of stuff. Sourcecast previously interviewed DT in episode 3, but there were a few more questions from fans, and I even had some of my own, so we agreed to sit down and chit-chat for a while, and well, I guess I'll let you listen for yourself to see what we talked about, so here it goes. Sourcecast's second interview with Dragon Tamer, the Skultacular Special. Enjoy.
Don't turn away, don't you turn away. Reach for the light, you might touch the sky. Stand on the mountain top and see yourself flying.
Okay, what's it like being on Sourcecast?
Cool. I mean, I remember the first, and I think back to the first time I was on for that interview, and that was a lot of fun. And now that I might actually be a regular participator in the future, if the plugged-in reviews take off, yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this.
Okay. Do you actually listen to Sourcecast on a regular basis?
Not a regular basis, but yeah, so I mean, it's not like, oh, it's Tuesday, better listen to Sourcecast kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I listen to it when a new one comes up if I find the time. I mean, you know how things get. First there's the usual writing, then of course there's job hunting, and to top it all off, Dragon's Lady, whom some of you may know, some of the listeners may know rather, as my ex-girlfriend, managed to talk me into participating in National Writers Month, even though I had decided I wasn't gonna.
Sounds like a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it keeps me busy.
So, you recently released 2 new Toby stories.
Yeah, Rising Star and Fallen Angel.
Yeah, and I love them both, by the way. I think I have like 7 copies of them on my computer.
Seriously, you've downloaded them?
Yeah, I got them in like 7 different locations. One on my desktop, one in my documents, one in my pictures, one in my videos, one on my iPod for me to watch, to read on the plane rides and stuff, but
wow, even I'm not into them that much.
But, so, you released them at the same time. Was that just purely coincidental, or did you write one and...
Oh, no. I went to great lengths to make sure they would be parallel stories. I mean, when I said double feature, I meant double feature. So, what I wanted to get there, partly because as I said in the dedications on, I think it was Rising Star, I honestly do not know that much about the mind of girls. Whenever I do something with them, I often seem to end up making a lucky guess, like, I think, okay, she'd probably think this way, I check it with an actual girl, and they're like, yep, that's right. So I make lucky guesses, but all the time it's like I've got a blindfold on and going, okay, where am I? So I kind of figured I'd make it easier on to write by just doing 2 different perspectives, both of them girls, on the same events. Or the same time period anyway, you know?
Yeah. Did you find it stressful at all, or was it just plain fun?
It was fun. I mean, during some of the parts where I was just struggling, trying to come up with something, I was kind of worried that it would come across as too forced, and that readers wouldn't find it as enjoyable. But apparently that wasn't a problem.
Okay, let's move on to why we're bringing you back onto Sourcecast, the movie reviews. Could you tell us a little bit about what you're hoping will eventually become a part of the show?
Okay, well, I think it would be best to start off by explaining about Plugged In movie reviews. Plugged In is a program done by Focus on the Family. Some of you may or may not be familiar with Focus on the Family. I believe you are, Skull.
Yes, I am. Very much so.
Yeah, I thought as much. Well, what they do is they send someone to watch a movie, and that person doesn't just get an overall view of the movie like, yeah, I liked it, it had great special effects. They go all the way. They break it down category by category. Positive content, spiritual content, and sexual violence, any drug references, and that would include even the little stuff like, say, the medicine used in the movie Balto. They would mention that. They just break it down completely and then give a conclusion in which they basically say whether they think this would be a good idea, a good movie to watch. I kind of think of it as most movie critics are like restaurant critics talking about the taste of the food, whereas Plugged In reviews, they don't just go into the taste, they break it down to the nutrition information.
That's a very good way to put it.
Thank you. So that's what Plugged In Movies does, and I'm hoping, if I can get their permission, I mean, I don't think it would be a problem, but simply as a matter of courtesy, I'm going to write to them and ask for their permission to use the same format, and both in written and radio form. They have a different format for each one, and then use that for movies that they didn't cover because they were too far back, like Robin Hood, for instance. Since Disney made Robin Hood way before Plugged In got started. Same would be true of some of the older movies like All Dogs Go to Heaven, The Secret of Nim, Land Before Time. And I'm always looking for a good excuse to watch those movies anyway.
Yeah, and their review of Balto is only a video review, and that was just a few years ago, I think.
Yeah, the review of Balto that they did, it was just, as you say, just a video review, and I wouldn't say I'm disappointed with it. I very much liked it. It wasn't as in-depth, but it definitely had the same focus. Their focus, as the name of the organization would suggest, is always on whether a movie is family-friendly, whether or not it's something that parents would approve of their kids watching. And they make allowances sometimes for older audiences. Like they'll say, I'll give it so many blanks out of 5. They never say stars like you'd usually see. They always come up with something creative when they do it on the radio. Like Balto, it would be 4 paw prints out of 5. And if it's a movie that's rated PG or PG-13, then they'll say, I give it so many out of 5 for 10 and up or 13 and up, as the case may be.
Yeah, I remember listening to their review for Prince Caspian the weekend it came out in 2008. They were saying for like 13 and up, they give it 4.5 stars, but under that, they don't recommend taking people taking.
Yeah, Prince Caspian was pretty violent, I got to agree, and I wasn't entirely thrilled with how they deviated from the book.
Basically, if we get permission from Focus on the Family, would you be interested in doing the reviews for Sourcecast?
Absolutely.
Would you be following the same format that Focus does, or would you alternate it a little bit, or just...
I'd pretty much stick to the same format, and that would apply to both Sourcecast and quite possibly posting the written ones on the on Animation Source. I wanted to do that actually for a long time. I wanted to to put together plugged-in style reviews of the Balto movies and perhaps even of certain fanfics, and put them on on Animation Source as fanfiction.
Okay. And we will be glad to have you. Oh, Toby, when's the next one coming out?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm participating in National Writers Month, so that's gonna delay it some. I've been making it a goal to write down 5,000 words a day on the story that I'm putting out for that, because they have a minimum word requirement of 50,000 words.
Wow.
And I have to get it done by the end of November. Now, I know that's more than 10 days away, but I want to leave myself some gaps, you know?
Yeah. I know what that's like. When I was in my prime, basically I was writing like 7 fanfics a week or something like that. But
that would explain the size of your gallery.
It would. But back then I was really on a roll because I had the ideas in my head for, years, ever since I saw the second Balto movie. And when I finally started typing it on the computer, my fingers just wouldn't stop. So yeah, I know what that's like.
I run into the same thing. The next Toby fanfic, I have a definite idea, but since I've got other projects that are time sensitive in one way or the other, first there's National Writers Month. Yeah, then there's the fact that I did promise, once I was done with the 2 new Toby ones, which are out now, I would write Just Beginning, which is a sequel to What Are You Talking About? You guys talked about that on the, let's see, was it last Sourcecast or the one before it?
It was last Sourcecast, and
yeah.
Since you brought that up, 2 questions, the first one of which is, what was it like having your fanfic reviewed on Sourcecast?
Well, I very much enjoyed it. I liked to hear people talking about it. I caught some laughs in there, and that was the whole point of What Are You Talking About? I think that's just about the only story I wrote where I wasn't really trying to make a point. I was just trying to entertain. And it's good to know that even though I see instruction through writing as the higher goal, it's nice to know that I can be just entertaining when I want to. And also it was nice hearing what was said. It seems like everyone who read What Are You Talking About and commented on it, they had something to say about how dense Charlie was, not picking up on what Sasha was trying to tell him. And I was just like, hey, if there were a point to this story, it was the fact that all Sasha needed to do was say 2 words.
And we can all guess what those 2 words are.
Well, not the people who haven't read it yet, which obviously is why I'm not going to say.
Me neither. We're even.
So it was nice to see that you guys weren't picking on Charlie in that one.
No, I think the biggest problem with us was we had 4 guys on the show and 1 girl and Nayu, and we could all sympathize with Charlie because we're all guys, but at the same time, we're seeing the story from Sasha's point of view. And that's what makes it funny, because we know what she's trying to tell him, but we know why he isn't getting it.
Yeah, I can see how that played out.
And let me just say, I loved it. I was on the floor laughing. The only other time I've been on the floor laughing, anything Animation Source related, was when they called me a girl in Sourcecast. No, Anayu, I will never let you down for that. Yeah. Honestly, that story was really, really tremendous, and it was just what I needed. It came on when I was having a really crummy day, and I just read that, and it made my day.
Well, good.
And the second question I